Nora.
Here we go.
That's what the music means, Louie. Hey.
Maybe we were not doing the music right now.
All right. Welcome in to the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Life is good. And let it play out.
Life is good.
All right. You know what? I think it's actually looping. Yeah, we're going to stop it now. Okay, there we go. Just stop it.
The hard phase.
Listen, Zach, when you're not here, things just go to hell in a handbasket.
Oh.
Mike and Dovel here with Louis Rabeau. Horse Racing Happy Hour. We're here, happy to be with you. I feel like it's been a while because I've been jet setting across the United States.
True.
I literally went to Austin and couldn't even see Zach. How pathetic is that, by the way? I mean, just chastise
That's not
me.
the story I heard.
Chastise me.
Because I talked to Zach and you texted him at like 2 p.m. and you're like, I am the oldest person in America. I cannot hang out.
I fell asleep. I did fall asleep. I hung out by the pool on the hotel for a while, but
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the conference I went to though was freaking amazing.
Well, there you go.
It was really good.
It's good, man.
Yeah. So
You should tell people what you did that Saturday.
I got on a plane in Austin, Texas at 4:30 in the morning. No, I got to the airport at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But the flight was 5:40 in the morning. Fly to Chicago, then fly to Louisville, drive to Lexington, see a terrible football game. There you go.
If there is something in the world that's pet peeve to me and it doesn't need to be, it's I'm in Texas. I have to fly north of where I live to fly back to my house.
Oh, I don't.
Instead of to St. Louis and then here, or to Nashville then here, or whatever.
Is St. Louis a hub for anybody?
No.
No.
Sorry,
it's got to be a hub, right?
Hi, St. Louis people. We have a lot of.
But you were spoiled because you just going in and out of Detroit. It's a hub for Delta.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Northwest Airlines.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I had more bad experiences connecting through Delta through Detroit than anything before. I've no issues ever in Atlanta. Detroit is
that place. Atlanta's nuts, but it runs like it's one of the best.
They get it
airports.
done.
Yeah, it's wild, and people are running all over the place. If there's a type of person you want to see, they're in the Atlanta airport right now.
Yeah,
everybody
much,
goes through that airport. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's incredible.
So going down to Austin, that's what I flew through. I flew through Atlanta.
Yeah,
Southwest connected through Atlanta.
Yeah, there is a direct flight to Austin from here.
Yeah,
Zach's taking it.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Everything had to work with with budget and everything else, timing and whatever it was. Timing definitely on the flight home was the key factor there. So the direct flight was not that early.
We do have a show conundrum.
What is that?
So we got our guy Kevin Kilroy. He's been on the show.
I like Kevin Kilroy. My phone is going nuts.
You're good.
I'm trying to.
And he's helping us out first gen, of course, right?
Yep.
Gold Book. He's doing all that stuff, right? Dude, crushing the Gold Book, by the way.
Yeah, he's amazing.
You guys murdering. So I text him. I'm like, yo, man, we're early stages, not a lot of money to go around, but do you want to come to Breeders' Cup? And he called my bluff.
He said, yeah.
So Kev's come and stay in the house. How about that?
I mean, so what's the conundrum?
Will Jim help us? That's conundrum.
Oh, we got to get another media credential.
That one I'm not worried about.
I don't worry about him too much because he's pretty well known. So
well, he's also trying to get in. He's doing the handicapping challenge as well.
Yeah,
trying to get in that way. So
nice.
I hope he gets it. I'll tell you, if anybody gets it, it'll be Kevin. I mean, dude can cap.
Nice.
No, he really can. So yeah, no, he's been a nice addition for us at first gen for sure.
It'll be a lot of fun too. So it'll be you, me, Zach, Issel.
Issel's wife.
Issel's wife's going. So Issel gets the master.
Remember, they lived in LA for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but he's gonna stay in the house?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No, his wife's gonna stay in the house, but not Dan.
Okay, Sherry's
Prom.
Prime, yeah. The original Colorado Prime.
Yeah, she's gonna stay with us. That's gonna be good.
All right. Nice.
I made that joke today, and he laughed pretty hard.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. What's funny is I think
his Santa Claus laugh.
Pretty much right. The thing with her though is I think if we had vodka, she would show up.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. If we had Bud Light, then Dan would show up.
There you go.
Budweiser.
Budweiser.
So look over your screen and that's
us earlier celebrating that Churchill's back.
Okay,
they're running right now. How about that?
Fantastic.
There you go.
I got some friends coming in for the Churchill meet that I think are checking out the show today for the first time. They want some picks while they're here. So
all right.
Yeah.
Good luck on
and
Saturday.
I know Saturday's gonna be a tough day. 3 big races on Saturday.
And
so we're gonna talk about that in the third segment.
Yep.
Second segment, we're gonna have our horse racing 101, which is going to talk a little bit about
HISA.
The HISA, and what's going on there.
Yep.
And I guess to kick it off though, Louis, first off, since you haven't really seen me much, like
So
how's life been?
something you don't know.
Okay.
We're sponsoring a booth at the Maryland Million.
Okay, that's good.
It is good. I agree. Talked with Becky today, folks in the office there, and
Am I going to Maryland?
So I don't know yet. We don't have to be there. Becky made that very clear. But we will have a booth at the Maryland Million this year. Things I, as a child of Michigan, having never seen a horse in person, never thought I would say out loud. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
That
right.
you even knew the Maryland Million existed.
Or that Maryland was really a state.
You knew Maryland was.
But I was like 7, maybe.
Come on.
7?
Probably.
You think my daughter right now knows that Maryland's a state?
Yeah, I think she does.
All right. Okay.
We got smart kids.
I do have smart kids. You're right about that.
So
their mom is pretty smart. That's the giveaway there. But yeah, no. So we're doing that, and then we'll be off to Breeders' Cup 2 weeks after that.
Okay. I got to go to. I got 2 trips I got to take before then. I got to go to Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And I've got to go to South Dakota.
Wow.
South Dakota, like the weekend before.
South Dakota's blowing up, by the way.
Is it?
It is.
Because of the governor?
Partly.
Yeah.
Honestly, yes.
Is she hot?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
Is that the South Dakota governor or the North Dakota governor?
I think
I
it's
don't
South
know
Dakota.
what her name is.
Yeah, I think it's South Dakota. We don't have to do this right now.
Okay.
But no, but it's blown up in the same way that like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, like people are leaving the coasts for those kinds of states. Yeah, right.
Have you ever been to one of those areas?
Oh yeah.
I've never been to the Dakotas.
Okay. I've never been to the Dakotas either. I've been to Minnesota though.
Been to Minnesota,
which
Wyoming, Montana.
Yep. Boise's cool.
I love all that stuff.
Yeah. Denver's very nice. Yeah. All the spots are good. Need better racetracks, but other than that, they're good.
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes, but that's
like
me.
Politician hot or hot? Because there's a difference, right?
She's older lady hot.
Okay.
Yeah. How old is she? Is she my age? That's pretty funny.
It's gonna be amazing. She's actually a year younger than me, right?
Is she?
Like, I don't know. We're gonna find out.
I mean,
What
I don't
a terrible
think
conversation.
I like the politician from Colorado better. I think. But,
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I think that's who that is.
I
don't even know. That's how I vote. By the way, I voted for Sarah Palin. Louis has lost it. It's over. I voted for Sarah.
What a freaking lie. How do we come back from that? I don't think there's coming back from that. I think that's what that
she's
is.
born in 1971, so she's older than me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years older than me. There you go.
Yeah, she's 5 years
Early
older.
50s. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
52. I mean, for 52-year-old,
Did you ever see the Saturday Night Live gig where Michael Che makes the joke? There'll be a record 18 female governors and the other 32 states will have dinner on time.
No, but that's a good joke.
It is a good joke,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the crowd boos him and he's like, come on, it's a good joke. I like jokes like that. I think it's very good. It's a good joke.
I'm trying to think what else.
My mom was a high-level politician in Michigan.
Your whole family was high-level
Yeah.
politicians.
But she got out of the politics game. I'll tell you that, like as soon as she could, because it's a brutal one.
After we talk about politics, there's nothing better than talking about racing in a big open wide field
Near the Tennessee border.
near the Tennessee border.
How about that?
So let's go. We're gonna do.
By the way, that place is gonna blow up. We're talking about Kentucky
Sure
Downs,
it
of
is.
course, because sports books, physical ones, are not legal in Tennessee.
Oh my gosh.
So, like 45 minutes from Nashville, they're gonna have this thing. They're just gonna build it out like it's Vegas. Oh yeah, that thing's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be
So,
crazy.
yeah.
Well, we had a big race down there. We had a couple big races, but we're gonna look at the Kentucky Turf Cup, the Grade 2. The purses in this, Lee. What was the purse in this thing?
$1 million.
I mean, that's it.
Oh no, this is the cup. No, 1.7.
$1.7 million for a Grade 2. Let's take a look right here.
All the way so far, and Get Smokin' leads by 2 over Santine with a half mile to go. Verstappen is third. Foreign Relations fourth on the inside. Then Spooky Channel, Therapist, and Red Knight. They're 6 lengths behind around that far turn. Kid O'Dan is next. Then comes Me and Mr. C, followed at the back of the pack by Another Mystery and Nautilus. The mile 137.99 can Get Smokin' keep on going. They're into the stretch in the Kentucky Turf Cup, and Get Smokin' comes off the turn in front. Still the leader by 2. Santine is second. Down the outside, Verstappen is third. It is still Get Smokin'. He's got to get 3/16 of a mile. He's still there. And then comes Santine and Verstappen to the outside. Spooky Channel is next. Down to the 16th pole. He's still there. It still Get Smokin'. Santine, Verstappen. On the inside, Spooky Channel. Get Smokin' every step of the way.
There it is. Get Smokin'. with a 19-1 shot there. Brings it home.
By the way, 2 major races at Kentucky Downs this meet, won by jocks based at Horseshoe, Indianapolis.
Oh,
So that was Fernando de la Cruz, and then our guy Joe Ramos rides for our buddy
nice.
Roger. Won a race down there as well. And so no, it's interesting because if that were on a flat track, I would give Jose a ton of credit for how he rated that race, right? But how the hell you know how to rate a race at Kentucky Downs when you race there like 20 times a year? I don't know.
Yeah.
So he deserves credit for slowing down the fractions for sure.
Staying
But do you really know that you're slowing the fractions down? Can you tell? Like, I don't know. I'm always impressed with these guys.
It's so deep too. Like if the grass is deep.
So different. And they run 24 flat for the first quarter. And that's not slow, man. I mean, it's not fast for sure, but it's not slow. And then he slows it way down. It was over 25 the rest of the way. Really slowed it down. Got into that spot on the last stretch where he's down the hill, but then he's up a little to the flat spot near the finish line. And look, I don't know what to read into this. I don't think any horse in that race is winning the Breeders' Cup turf.
They got to get Smoking going there at least because it's a winning green.
100%.
Yep.
And I would definitely send my horse and figure it out, right? But I don't think the winner of the race was in there. But you know what? When you could take $1 million check home, not a bad day at the office. So good for Jose Lascano, man, for sure. One of those guys that's kind of, I think, on that second tier of jocks for a lot of fans, for a lot of people, observers of the sport. And so good for him, man. That's a good paycheck for a guy like that. It's great.
Yeah.
Pay a lot of bills with a 10% of $1 million check.
Absolutely. Man. You did all right. So
good for him.
Who was the favorite in that race, by the way?
I read.
Was it one Santine though?
No, Annapolis.
Okay, yeah, Annapolis was there. So that's a big win, and you would have thought that Annapolis would have been better than 7-2 going into that. Yeah,
it's just hard to know if the horses are going to like Kentucky Downs or not. We had Joe Sharp on Island Louis a couple days ago, and he right before the meet started, and he talked about one of the best things about Kentucky Downs is it's almost like the horses they're out to pasture in like the winter, like when they take time off, that kind of thing, when they just get to be horses.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, oh, we're running? Sure. Okay. That sounds good, essentially. And he said he really likes that part of Kentucky Downs, that you can tell there are certain horses that like that wide open space. And I asked him, is there a way for us to replicate that at other tracks? And he's like, yeah, no, not usually, because if it's a Churchill or a Pimlico or a Belmont, it's in the city, right? Or an Aqueduct or something like that. Very few places where you're out in the country. And I guess for horsemen, especially, a place like Keeneland offers that. Mm-hmm. And they really like it. So, or like an Ellis, something like that, where it's a little more rural. But yeah, it's Get Smoking's not winning a Breeders' Cup race.
I don't think so.
It's
either.
okay,
yeah.
But good for him. Great too, and
1.7 million.
Yeah, 100%.
Go for it.
Good for them. That's great. So,
yeah.
Don't worry about the other one. We'll move on to the HISA.
I'm just trying like really hard. I'm trying to make you proud, and that's all it is to it. And then plus, I want to see something else real quick because
Mike's had to say that to his wife a lot.
Actually, that's not wrong.
I'm trying really hard.
I'm trying really hard.
Make you proud.
I'm doing my best.
I'm doing what I can, honey. I love you. Yeah.
Can we wait?
You're not the only person to do that, by the way.
Can we wait 10 more minutes?
Yeah, right. These pills are really expensive. Yeah.
But Get Smoking with 113 on the speed figure.
I know.
I mean, that's he was cooking. I mean, he was doing good, and
especially over that distance. Mile and 5/8 is no. It's no.
My computer is going extremely slow.
You're fine.
And this is my internet, so I don't know.
I agree that it's your fault.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's you want to get your read in for Maryland here?
Do you think I should?
I think you should.
Since we're sponsoring, I still have to do the read.
Yeah.
Kidding, of course. All right. So from our guy John
Piazzik.
Happy to do this. Just a reminder: Saturday, October 14th is the 38th annual Jim McKay Maryland Millie showcase of the finest of Maryland's thoroughbred industry. You can visit MarylandMillion.com. You stay updated, on those contenders. They have a weekly show called the Maryland Million Watch, and you can learn about all those sponsorship opportunities. You can be in the booth next to us. How about that? Purchase one of those ever popular club tables and more. We'll see you at the Million. Looked up the club tables, by the way.
Yeah.
Really good deal. It's about $250 a person.
Okay.
But for what you get and what that day of racing is, that is very reasonable.
Red Knight, by the way, was the favorite in that race.
Oh, Red Knight did go off his favorite.
Yeah,
okay.
Annapolis was not in there. I didn't think.
Oh, it was the week before then. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So, Papa Joe's birthday is October 14th.
How about that?
Yeah.
My wife's going to be in New Orleans. That's the holdup for us.
Yeah.
If she wasn't, I would Southwest it that morning and just figure it out.
Just go, yeah.
Yeah, just figure it out.
Yeah. And that's easy to do there.
It's, oh my gosh, BWI's around the corner for more.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with HISA. So First off, for the casual listener,
Yeah.
let's explain what HISA is.
It's the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act, and has turned into an $80 million a year government agency whose job it is to essentially be the governing.
It's certainly full of horse racing people, then, right?
And we can thank Mitch McConnell for this, by the way, speaking of how people vote, for putting this together. And the tracks pay the $80 million. This is not a taxpayer subsidized thing. This comes out of the racing. And this is one of those interesting days, Mike, for me, because I watched people run to Twitter, horse players especially, and bitch about
The taxpayer money.
1% raise of the takeout rate at Kentucky Downs. Okay. Yet Churchill's back today, and Churchill's takeout rates on everything is higher than Kentucky Downs. But because they didn't change the rates, everyone's playing Churchill today.
Yeah.
Bleep off.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone, what people cannot figure out, it's stunning to me. Hang on.
How did HISA go to that? Okay, go ahead.
Is that they needed to raise takeout to pay for HISA.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you give away $1 million, you give away 1.7 in these races.
Easy.
I'm not going to be easy, by the way. I'm pissed off about this.
Yeah.
This really makes me angry. They have to, by state law, they have to take the money that they get from the slots and put them in purses.
Yes.
Period. Conversation over. That's a requirement. Oh, you're so nice to the horse owners. Oh, okay.
So you're just saying that
okay.
You're just mad at the ignorant horse fans.
I just think the argument on the other side is myopic. It's very narrow, and it does not look at all of the aspects of this.
Sure.
I think HISA's
That's pretty much with anything, though.
Sure, but I think HISA's a disaster.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
So I understand people being mad, but being mad at Kentucky Downs for paying their bills, I don't.
But is HISA at the same time? Maybe it's a disaster. I mean, I don't really get. Here's how I feel about it. I don't really care how the general public feels. So, I'm not
talking about general public. I'm talking about horse players.
Sure, but at the same
That's
time,
who listens to this show.
Yeah, but we also get general fans as well too. So we get people that.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, like I think the general intent of HISA was to get on the path to having one governing body for horse racing.
That's the idea. Drug testing being consistent, the look at the surfaces being similar.
So is it not kind of the MO, the government, to just make a complete and total train wreck so that the sport figures it out and gets their own governing body put together? And would that
I do wonder if that was the intent.
Yeah.
Was a guy like McConnell was like, this will actually force them to work together, but it's horse racing and they haven't done that for 100 years. Why would they start now?
To me, he goes, it is the five families and the Godfather at the table conversation, 100%, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not that much different.
It's not terribly different.
Keeping it up there.
I started talking about you and your wife, and it just
it's deflated.
Just deflate. No, but it's like an elephant trunk over here.
Thank you.
A lot of people listening, not watching. So I just people not going into the nuance of this, where HISA sucks, but the tracks have to pay for this. Do you know the bill for Kentucky Downs they ran like 8 days was $750,000? Indiana Grant's gonna have to put up like $1.5 million Horseshoe Indianapolis for their little track. Do you think that's sustainable for little tracks? Do you think Arapahoe outside of Denver can afford that? Do you think that Los Al, who's running 6-horse fields on Saturday and Sunday nights, can afford that kind of fee? I don't know, man. That's what I really worry about. And for people to get mad about takeout rates, it worked, by the way. The handle of Kentucky Downs was down 8-9%. And if you want to be mad at that, and then you're just going to go bet Churchill where the takeout rates are higher, okay. Have both. Have it both ways, people. Enjoy your cake. Hope you enjoy it.
Let the big boys win. Right?
Or just not have the sport anymore. That's the other option here.
Yeah.
It's just what people are pushing for when they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just an FYI. Because they're not going to change. Hi.
Are you good?
MarylandMillion.com.
MarylandMillion.com. So let's talk about what happened, though, with HISA and Churchill Downs. I mean, basically, there was a report that came out that said that, that investigated the turf at Churchill Downs because of all the deaths that happened in the spring meet, found that Churchill was not at fault. Not shocked at all.
Not the track, right? Yeah.
Right.
We had Brian Lynch on a couple weeks ago for Kentucky Downs preview day, and I asked him at the close of the interview, like I have everyone, how has the track been? He rides his own horses.
Yeah.
And he's out there. He's from Australia. He knows, tracks around the world. And he said, we've never had a single issue at Churchill Downs. It's not a track issue.
It's not a track issue.
He said it's just not a track issue. And that's where I get frustrated is I understand if you think there are people in the sport who don't respect the animals, who don't respect the athletes, who don't respect horse racing the way that they should. But there are tons of people who do. And I did not see any quotes from Brian Lynch in that article, in their report. I don't know. Maybe ask fucking Brian Lynch. Maybe we fucking do that. And we don't do that shit. We're so dumb. We're so myopic. Oh, I'm here. As Dan Issel always says, I'm here for the government. I'm here to help. Oh, okay. I don't believe it at all. And the other part of it that really frustrates me is I think Churchill was perfectly happy moving to Ellis Park so that they could get construction done ahead of Derby 150.
Well, I agree with that too.
Yeah. And so all of it fucking sucks. Hi, I'm Louis Rabo, and we're sponsored by the F word tonight. So
I just don't get that worked up about it. Like, I don't know.
If this were about college football, you'd be just as worked up.
I don't know.
Okay. So if college football were 5 years from going away, you wouldn't give a shit.
Well, I don't know. First off, I don't know if that's the case here in horse racing. I really don't. I think it'll work itself out. I think we'll figure it out.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But if the idiots keep running the asylum, it's going to become more of an asylum.
I guess I've always just assumed that idiots have always run the asylum.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That's just the way it is.
Okay.
So we get, to some sort of a compromise, just like I'm sure we will with. Did the auto workers come to a compromise? I didn't see that today. No. Is that pretty personal for you, by the way, since you live in Louisville and Detroit, which are two of the most biggest automobile manufacturing cities?
Pro labor union, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But I think that's because of my Catholic upbringing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Plus, I watched and I hung out and I went to school with a bunch of kids whose dads did that. And the middle class when I was growing up, you could have a small, normal house, good school district, cottage on a lake somewhere, a couple of scheduled vacations every year. And that was something everyone had. And I know that now both parents are working and there are no scheduled vacations.
Yeah.
And I watched like Louisville not even be able to bus their kids to school. And I'm sure there are a bunch of single moms out there who got jobs like waiting tables at lunch and couldn't even go do that because they couldn't figure out the freaking buses. And how we've shit on the middle class in this country is really disgusting. So, all right. How about that?
Can I get Louis on another? Should I keep on Louis on his soapbox? That? So what do you think about the governor of South Dakota?
I don't know anything about her except for I know the financial laws in that state, and a bunch of people are moving their trust to that state. How about that?
All right, man. So let's get into some handicapping. Let's go talk about Churchill Downs, the dun dun dun.
No, it's not Kentucky Downs, so it's an okay place. We can actually
okay.
So different.
I
do want to say before we get into this about the racing at Churchill, I think they're doing something very smart.
Which is?
The Pocahontas and the Iroquois are being run at a mile rather than 2 turns at a mile and a 16th.
Okay.
I think 1 turn for 2-year-old horses at this point of their development makes way more sense. And so I'm happy to see this move.
And we honestly we haven't seen the Iroquois, the Pocahontas really be relevant.
They're not good predictors anymore for future success. And I do wonder, we had Brad Cox on a couple weeks ago. I do wonder, and it was his quote, if that was a little too taxing on the horses who came out of that race.
Sure.
It stunted their development essentially. So no, I was happy. I asked him, do you think it's a good idea? He said yes. So I'll run with that. That's a guy who cares about winning as a 3-year-old in the spring. So we'll go with that.
And of course, whoever wins will get a lifetime of just buzz. That's what happens with the winner of the Iroquois.
Reminder to the owner of the winner of the Iroquois: sell your horse the next day.
Yeah, really.
That's it.
100%.
That is the peak.
That is as good as it's going to get.
Yeah,
so just kind of looking at this, looking at the last time we had a Harlan's Holiday was probably
okay.
Geez,
what's that? 2001.
That was 2001. Yes, that was exactly what it was. Yeah, and Harlan's Holiday did not.
Did I really get that right?
Yeah, did not win the Derby.
No, of course.
But just kind of looking at this, where we had it like a legit, sit and go. Midnight Bourbon came in second.
Okay.
Which that wasn't that long ago. And we've seen horses have had good careers. Radar Superstar was in this race, came in second. But yeah, I mean, ultimately this was a much bigger deal. And they used to run it at a mile, Louis. They ran it a mile when Sit and Go won, and Midnight Bourbon came in second. Then that was the COVID year, but they ran it 2012 and before they ran it at a mile. So I think there's something to it.
Yeah,
I think it's a good move,
especially when you have the mile shoot at Churchill Downs. Right. I mean, it makes sense that when your course is set up that it can include a race of this variety, then you just do it. It's almost like you talked about with horse racing. It's almost so logical they wouldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But do you know where this frustration comes from? Is we did the Preakness.
I felt like last year we had way too many 2-turn races early.
Oh my God.
Yes. I mean, it felt like everything was a 2-turn race in the fall. So.
Right. I think this is a good move. And the place where we saw it most in action last year is when we did Preakness Trail stuff, and Maryland was slowly working the horses up.
Yeah.
It was 7 furlongs, then it was the 1 mile shoot, then they went to 2 turns, and then they ran the Preakness. Like, all of it just made sense how they ran it in order that way. It's good to see the Derby go to this too.
Yeah. So I guess it's the unofficial start to the chase for 150.
It is not the unofficial, it is the official.
The official start.
Because there's going to be points, my friend.
There is points.
There you go.
Yeah.
How about that?
Go for the points.
Stay
You'll see
for
all
the
kind
one.
of Derby 150 stuff out there. I'm sure they're going to be selling Derby 150 merchandise all over the place.
I'll
Get
head out.
your
I'm going to
Derby
be out there
150
on
stuff.
Saturday. I'll give you a lay of the land next week when I'm there, just because there's so much construction going on. I mean, it's spending like $250 million on a paddock.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
It's a lot of money, Mike. I don't know if you knew that. $250 million.
Well, I just know the conversations that are already going on at the city level, and it's pretty crazy. So,
Like how much they're going to blow 150 out?
yeah,
Good.
yeah, in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
So
Do you think we'll be in 322 for it? Or do you think they'll move the media out of there and make those chairs?
no, I think we'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they'll move us out. Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay. All right.
Do you know
Flatter thinks we'll be in that thing at the end of the track.
what the where they put the other media last year?
Yes.
Those peons.
What's it like not to have the same assigned table
Yeah.
every year? I didn't know. Unaware what that like.
I said I told what's his
We're
name?
gonna find out in Santa Anita.
Yeah. What's the dude who was complaining about my cigar? He's kind of a big deal. Who's now on ESPN.
He's on the pod with
I
40.
was like, listen, you had to go send him over there.
Yeah.
Don't complain about my cigar.
Don't
Get
talk
away.
about
Get away,
cigars at
dude.
the Derby. Go
Yeah.
inside. Dan Wetzel, right?
Dan Wetzel.
That
That's
was
it,
Wetzel, right? Yeah. Oh, man.
All right.
Hi, Dan. Hope you're doing well.
Let's do a little handicapping, Louis.
Sure.
Let's talk about these really tough races. We're going to
Let's talk.
start with the listed stakes, the Open Mind, which is race 6 furlongs on the dirt. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Where did you land in this one? This is a great field, right?
It's a fun field for sure. You get Ugiri in here. You get Wicked Halo. Fire on Time's kind of a late blooming 5-year-old who's already won this year, won 3 times last year, 4 for 6 lifetime at Churchill. Fun one. That's the 3-horse in that race. It's not a great field. You do have Wicked Halo in here who makes this a better field than it is. You run for $300K. Churchill announced this starting this meet, by the way. No stakes race will be run for less than $200,000.
Okay.
Period. Listed, black type, whatever. It doesn't matter. And so they'll be moving to that on a permanent basis as part of their obligations with the Kentucky Thoroughbred Development Fund. And so this is where if you wanted to make money on the pick 6, you go against Wicked Halo.
Okay.
This is it. This is that race for this sequence. If you wanted to try to find a price and beat a horse, this would be Wicked Halo. My suggestion: don't try to beat Wicked Halo.
You're not like in your Gary in the spot.
I don't like Ugiri this year. In the second half of the year, ran well in at Prairie Meadows in a black type. We're not in Kansas anymore. We're not in Iowa anymore. And so this is the big boys. Wicked Halo's last couple losses are to Goodnight Olive and Monterey. Those horses are not in this race, and so I'm gonna lean on Wicked Halo to start the Epic 6 here.
Okay. Wicked Halo is the single here.
Yes,
We're gonna
for me that's the 2-horse in race 6. Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna move on now to.
By the way, the one that's not on the show sheet, it's a shame on me. We're going to talk to him tomorrow. It'll be released on our podcast platform. Greg Foley's coming on tomorrow because his horse, Bango, is running in the Thoroughbred Society on Saturday. And if he wins, he will tie the all-time wins record at Churchill Downs
Oh, awesome.
with
man.
11 lifetime wins. Those are the cool things in horse racing that we just don't see a lot because of a male horse. By the way, he's fully intact. Usually a horse of this
Wow,
quality
he's not really.
is not off to breed at
Wow.
age 6, and he's got all these wins. He's 13 for 32 lifetime. He's 1.275 million. Chance to go well into that 1.3, 1.4 range after this race. And the thing is because he's by Congrats, and he was not one of the more successful AP Indy kids, right? And so you get that it's in that lineage. People care more about the lineage than they do the results. And so Bango, legitimate shot for Greg Foley to tie the record. I think he gets it done. A horse named Strobe is also in that race for Brad Cox, the Florent.
We're talking about race 4, by the way, right here.
Yeah, thank you, the Thoroughbred Society. And so we'll have Greg on tomorrow. He will talk to us on Issel and Louis. We'll release it on the podcast as part of the podcast platform tomorrow afternoon.
All right, race 7 is the Pocahontas. So this is the Oaks preview here. We got 9-horse field, Louis, and you think these races, I know the Pocahontas and the Iroquois, are very much wide open.
I think they are wide open, and I think it's every year that we think it's not going to be wide open, that it ends up being even more wide open. Last year we leaned on Todd Pletcher,
Mhm.
or 2 years ago, I guess now. We leaned on Todd Pletcher as part of that. He has a horse in both races this year as well. I'll be interested to see how his show up. He's got Corb in this race, the 8 horse, 10-1 with Rafa Bejarano, who rode her when she broke her maiden, going 7 furlongs. So one of the more interesting things now is at a mile and a 16th, we had to think about 2 turns for every horse in this field for the first time, right? Now we're talking about a 1-turn mile. So a horse that's gone 7 furlongs, that's pretty good experience.
Sure, it's just
going an extra distance,
yeah,
right? Because you got a bunch of 6 furlong horses in here as well. And so trying to figure out who that horse is going to be on top should be, quote unquote, I'm making air quotes for people listening, easier to do. I don't think it is. I've been praising Norm Cassie for his 2-year-olds.
Yep.
I'm not going to get off of that right now. Her name's Empire Island. She's the one. He and Ricardo Santana Jr. are the new Asmussen Santana Jr. combination. Here is the issue with that. They are 0 for their last 14 at Churchill Downs.
Jeez.
That's bad. Together, though, they have hit 38% of their last 50 races. So if it ain't at Churchill, they're good to go. So interested to see that one come back. I love the 5-1 price in this kind of race. So I'll lean on her first. And then I went outside the 9 horse here, Hot Beach. Ran in the debutante, won the debutante as a maiden. So Brian Lynch put her in under Declan Cannon. She ran away with the thing. And so interested to see her back running that full 7 furlongs at Ellis Park. Can she just stretch it out another furlong? I think she absolutely can. 2 other horses I looked at here are the 6 and the 7. The 6 is VV's Dream. That's a Kenny McPeak. The 7 is You Almost Had Me. Was the favorite in that debutante, just didn't fire. Not sure what that's about, but this is second off the layoff for Brad Cox with the 7, You Almost Had Me. Gets Tyler here. 2 of them win the quarter of their races at Churchill Downs together. Tyler, the leading rider last couple of Septembers, knows the course, knows what to do with 2-year-olds. Just an FYI behind the scenes, like we're pulling back the curtain on how I look at the form. So obviously these horses I've watched this year. And so I've seen the replays on these horses. Number 1. Number 2, I look at 2-year-old trainer statistics more than I do anything else when I look at these high-level 2-year-old.
Because it's a specialty, for
it's
sure.
It's absolutely a specialty.
Yeah.
And very few people are as good in the entire country as Brad Cox and Bob Baffert. Period. End of story as far as what the numbers
Cassie's
are.
getting there.
I think Norm Cassie's the next guy. I really do.
Asmussen's been in the conversation.
No question. Todd Pletcher's excellent as well.
Obviously, Romans at one time was really
He's
good.
back to it. We're going to talk about that later. His numbers look more like Dale Roman's numbers. And I was thinking about this today, and I don't think he would mind it if I said it. What's the biggest difference between Dale 2 years ago and now?
Like his weight?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he had a health moment where he figured it out, and I think his whole life is better.
We call that a Liam Cohen moment.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or like I had this summer. I think people have these moments, right?
Yeah.
And you sort of just, you figure it out. And I think it has carried over from his personal life into his training life. At least I hope it has. Because when you see the guy, he was there, Churchill, last week.
He looked great.
He looked incredible.
Yeah.
And it is fun to watch people transform and get better. And he is clearly doing the work for that. I think you're seeing it on the track as well. So fun there. But I'm looking at 1, 9, 6, and 7 here in the Pocahontas.
So the 7, You Almost Had Me, is going to be the morning line favorite.
And probably the betting favorite as well.
Yeah.
I think so.
So,
but in a 2-year-old race, man, that really does
doesn't
offer you an opportunity to get some value off another horse.
And you got a lot, so back to Louis' point, you got lots of value there going all the way to 5-1 with Empire Island, the 1. All right. So
I think even if you can get a Flavian Pratt for 7-2, good gosh,
that's really good.
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
Right. Take that all day.
Yep. By the way, in the 8th race, it's an allowance. It's part of this sequence here. I have 3 horses in here: the 4, 10, and the 3. Grace Darling's in here, coming out of the Florida Oaks. Brian Lynch gave her a little bit of time off. Tyler's aboard there. The 10 horse is Watch This Birdie for Nacho Correas and Vincent Cheminot. 2 of them really, really turning into a nice combination. This on the turf, the 2 of them on turf, very, very good together. They do pick up about 15% together at Churchill Downs. Should be a nice combination there. And then finally, the 3 horse. Spicy Italians running in this race, by the way.
Oh, nice.
20-1.
Well, thank you.
That's $5 across the board for you.
Hello, Wayne.
Just do it, right?
Wayne's the man.
And then the 3 is Musical Score. That's Brad Cox, Florent Giroux. If that horse can get out front, stay out front, or get into a stalking position, really good shot. I think those 3 you must use in your sequence.
All right, so we're on to race now, which is the Grade 3 Iroquois again. We're going at a mile. It's going to happen right before 5 o'clock. It's gonna be beautiful weather. It's gonna be an awesome day.
Yeah, I can't wait.
One
of my favorite days of the year for sure.
What time does Louisville kick off, football wise? I know it's not at home, unfortunately.
Noon with it.
So you'll be able to see the U of L game, watch the Iroquois, then watch the Kentucky game. Then
I'll do you better.
What?
They got a sports book at Churchill Downs.
That's right.
Go
Do the
watch
whole
the Churchill.
deal.
Go watch the Louisville game at Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
Bet the game. Bet it every quarter.
Go.
Then walk out. Bet some races. 100%.
Go
man.
Hoosiers. All right.
No question.
I'm just showing my support for you by saying go Hoosiers.
Thank you.
All right.
I went to grad school there. I barely saw the campus.
Yeah.
I know what the inside of the library looks like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Have you been to a football game there though?
Oh yeah.
See?
Do you mean did I drink on campus?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right.
All right, on to that Iroquois Stakes. So we do have two Steve Asmussen mounts here, including the favorite number 8, Risk It, with Tyler on board. You got to love that. Who else besides the 8 horse do we like here, Louis?
Man, okay. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a Brad Cox in this race at 12-1.
Wow, you
With-
got it
with
Flavian.
Flavian Pratt.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
I'm not telling anyone how to do their job.
Listen, it's called Gettysburg Address, and Lincoln was born in Kentucky. I mean, what other sign?
Come on, people. We're trying to have a civilization.
If they called this race the Knob Creek, it'd be over.
Look, there's no way that horse is going to be 12-1, but it's hidden in the sequence.
Yep.
Right? If someone's just looking at numbers and trying to build a ticket based on favorites, they're going to miss this horse. 12-1's a long number in a 9-horse field. There's no way that this is the third worst horse or second worst horse. Mike. It is the eighth.
Talk to me, Louis.
It is the 8th horse per the money line, the morning line in this race. Give me a break. I mean, it's just not. Get over it. Horses make these jumps.
First run at Ellis. I mean, it's not like it won its first race in Ellis. It had a 73 speed.
It didn't just win at Ellis. It got a bunch of dirt kicked in his face.
Yeah.
And still won under a jockey who's nowhere near the quality of Flavian Pratt.
Right.
Let's. It's not going to be 12-1. Let's be realistic.
Louis' long shot.
Oh, 100%.
Louis' long shot.
You know what I should look? Do I have that horse on top? I don't, but it's my handicapping because I think Patriot Spirit on the outside, actually for Jesus Castanon, is one to absolutely look on. That's essentially based on the fact that the horse broke maiden at 7, comes back now at 8, obviously at a mile, blew everybody away, and just the speed handily with this horse. If this horse has any kind of ability to get more late kick, it can absolutely win the race. I love the 7-2. I think you're going to see a flip. I think you're going to get Gettysburg Address at like a 7-2, and you're going to get a Patriot Spirit
At like 12-1, 10-1,
8-1.
Get a good price.
I think you're going to get a massively good price on that kind of horse. We're talking about 2-year-olds. This is a $235,000 purchase. This is no slouchy horse. It's a son of Constitution. I think if you're looking at 2-year-old races, try to predict who's going to be down the line. So include Gettysburg Address in your longer tickets because it's going to be hidden in the sequence. But if you're betting race to race, you're going to get a great number in Patriot Spirit. Look at Risk It as well. Everything about that horse screams that Asmussen's going to have it ready to go. Training at Saratoga, but bullet work at Saratoga recently, minute flat, over 5 furlongs. That's the kind of number that we want to see with a horse, especially 2-year-old. That's a really, really nice number. And then I do think, there's one more in my notes. I apologize. The 3-horse here, Union Roll, is interesting. It's Todd Pletcher, so I'm including play for me. Period. Conversation over. It's interesting. He and Gerardo Corrales, limited number of mounts, but good mounts, usually hitting the board, getting in the number there. So Rendon jumps off here. We get Corrales on. Horse Breaks is made at Monmouth. It's a Union rag. Sometimes you just don't know in the 2-year-old races because it's not a guarantee, as you pointed out. It's not a guarantee of a horse that goes on to success as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So we're trying to maximize the horse now. This would be another horse I would look at. So in the Iroquois, I'll go 9, 8, 7, and 3.
All right. Last race of the day is not of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is race 10, the Locust Grove Stakes, grade 3. This is a mile and a 16th, $400,000 race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. I'm telling you, like, this field's loaded, Louis. If this race though was last year, like, it'd be probably like the talk of the horse racing world. Yeah. The field is so freaking amazing. Yeah. Pauline's Pearl, Le Davida, Search Results, Hidden Connection, Amore. I mean, Falconet. This is like a who's who of fillies. I mean, where do you go for that? I mean, there was a time where we didn't think Pauline's Pearl would ever get beat until we got beat in the Breeders' Cup. She got beat in the Breeders' Cup.
One horse in this race hasn't made 6 figures this year in purse money.
Okay, one horse. Wow, and that's just this year.
And that doesn't include a 30-1 shot who has made 6 figures this year.
Right.
This is loaded. I mean, this is loaded. Falconet's in this race, for example, the 10 horse, who I don't think is going to get it done here, despite having won at Churchill Downs before. In for Todd Pletcher again, Gerardo Corrales riding. But I don't think she's going to get it done. But that's a horse that's 6-1 even that's coming out of winning the groupie doll at Ellis Park, right? I mean, against a good field as well, beats Hidden Connection, beats Interstate Daydream in that one. Horses that certainly, if you listen or pay attention to the Fillies and Mares at all, you definitely know. I do have search results on top here because of Tyler. The connections there, he and Chad Brown, good connection at 21%. Not great at Churchill, but I'm going to go ahead and just trust Tyler at Churchill.
So by the way, players, you're looking at search results probably as the favorite. And some people will be like, well, this horse hasn't even won this year.
Right.
But this horse runs against the top of the top, right?
Lost to Secret Oath, lost to Clariere. Did not show up well in the Molly picture, I didn't think. Ran third, not a bad third. Just never really had it. Flavian Pratt was aboard for the previous mounts. Interesting move to Tyler here because Flavian Pratt's going to ride Amore, who I do think can win here for Brad Cox. Interested to see her. She's the 7. I do think you have to use search results the 4. I would look also inside the 3 and the 2. Leda Vida. I cannot figure this horse out, but I really, Nacho Chris is having a really nice year. Vincent Cheminot is having a nice year. If you look at their numbers, they almost line up exactly on the 12% 9. And so interested to see if she can get back some of that speed that we saw in the Lady Jacqueline up in Cleveland at Thistledown, where she dominated that field by over 3 lengths. Interested to see if she can run it back here. Did win her 1 start at Churchill Downs in an optional claimer, going a mile, going a little bit longer here, obviously going the 2 turns. 2 turns hasn't bothered her all year. She's the kind of horse that can really help your longer ticket, because if she wins and say a Pauline's Pearl and a search results don't, then you're probably hitting for a much better number in your pick 4, your pick 6, whatever you're playing. Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Hope you have a great day out of Churchill. Bet some college football, watch some horse racing.
That's right.
Doesn't get any better than that.
We always used to go up to Indianapolis, and we would marvel because we could just walk through a hallway and go bet there. Now they're in the same room at Churchill. You can literally walk from the Aristides room. It's a 1-minute walk to the 300 section, and you're outside. I just crush it. That's the best. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really excited.
Go bet some football. Come out and bet some horses. Yeah, love it. All right. And you made it your first bet? I'm taking.
I did. Lions season under win total, and then they went and won in Kansas City. But that's a shtick for my other show.
So what was the Lions under season win total?
9.5.
Ooh, I like the over on that, though.
Of course, everyone does. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? You got a better payout if you went over. So Vegas actually paid you less to go under.
So they
think
under.
It's 9. They think they're a 9-8 team.
At that division, I think the Vikings are. We're gonna see what the Vikings are made of tonight. I think a little bit.
I don't. I think we'll see what the Vikings are made of starting next week.
Yeah.
I think the Packers are considerably better than what
people thought they would be.
People don't want the Packers to be good.
Right.
I don't know why. Whatever. I don't want them to be good because I'm a Lions fan.
Sure.
That's fine. Sure. I understand why I don't want it. But I wonder if people didn't like Aaron Rodgers and it just and Brett Favre, and it just permeated how they feel about the Packers.
Yeah, I had an interesting conversation with the guy from Green Bay at the conference I was at, actually. And he was talking about how much, Aaron Rodgers just didn't vibe with the city.
Right.
Right. And
he's a California guy. It's just sometimes those things just don't work together.
Exactly what that guy said. Yeah. And they weren't afraid they weren't sad to see him go. And they want to get back to that blue collar mentality. And so I do. I think you're right. I think the Vikings are gonna be a major letdown. I think the Packers,
they're a 9-8, 8-9 kind of team.
Yeah, probably miss the playoffs.
Probably. And I think the Packers are going to be a 10-win or 11-win season type team.
And you're hoping the Lions are a 10-win season?
Absolutely. No, it's not that I want the Lions to be bad. That's your play
right there. You're like, if they're less than 9 wins, I win money. But if they're better, then I'm just going to be
If you want to call it an emotional hedge, that's fine.
That's an emotional hedge.
But I've been a fan since I was.
And you've seen them falter.
They've won a playoff game in my life. I have 4 kids. They've won 1 playoff game in my life. They had Barry Sanders and Kelvin Johnson, and they won 1 playoff game. I don't want to. Whenever someone bitches about their sports life or a bad beat in a horse race, I'm like, are you from Detroit? Were you born in St. John's Hospital? And they're like, here's the Lions, asshole. No, that's not your life. That's my life.
Well, I'm getting my hopes up right now for baseball. So
your hopes should be up for your 49ers.
Oh, my hopes are way up for that. That's for sure.
Way up.
They're way up.
You're one of these assholes that gets to pick whatever team he wants. You don't have these birthright terrible teams. You have the Tigers and the Dead Wings and the Pistons.
The Dead Wings. The Dead Wings were pretty good back in the day. So
it took 15 years of my life for them to matter.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this right now?
The Pistons. Let's talk about the Pistons. So who are the Pistons going to what 6'6" guard are the Pistons going to take in the first 2 picks of the draft next year? All right.
You mean 5th pick because they'll lose the lottery again.
They'll lose the lottery. There it is. Oh, they can win the lottery and still lose the lottery. So
It's amazing. You can have Troy Weaver, who seems by all accounts to be very smart.
What's the Italian dude's name? Dino that they picked.
No, they took Darko Milicic.
Yeah, that's it. That's what Darko.
Do you know what's ironic though about Darko?
What's that?
That was probably the right pick because it didn't. If they had taken Carmelo, they probably don't win the title.
Yeah.
Because he's a ball stopper, and that team was not a ball stopper team. You got Rip Hamilton on your team and whatever. But
all right, we're gonna pay the tab. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks for listening. This has been Let's Get Louie Upset version of the Horse Racing Happy Hour.
Here we go.